What's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let me just go ahead and get into this topic here. So over the weekend, Kevin Durant started making a lot of headlines, right? Kevin Durant has been in the news once again for some beef, right? He made a lot of headlines, and a lot of it, or it was basically centered on essentially some comments that Kevin Durant had made about, you know, championships and winning NBA championships, right? Essentially, what KD said was to a comedian, he basically, or he said online, yes, he said it online, that he essentially said that offense wins championships, right? That's essentially what he said. Then a comedian by the name of, let me get his name right, Ryan Davis, right? Ryan Davis, because he said to Kevin Durant, he's like, you know, no wonder you're saying that that's the reason why you haven't won anything since you left Golden State, blah, 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 blah. And then Kevin Durant, of course, with his disrespectful self, he came back and said some very, very disrespectful stuff to the comedian in response. And then the comedian, Ryan, let me get his name right again, Ryan Davis, essentially put out like a 5-minute video of where he just absolutely roasted Kevin Durant for like 5 straight minutes. Like, he went from the beginning of his career to the present day. I mean, he actually flame broiled his behind. It was pretty epic, right? So that's what he said. But I was like, okay, number one, this is not nothing for us to talk about. So this morning, I was going through the internet and I came across an article from basketballnetwork.net, and it was basically highlighting some comments that JJ Redick made on his show, where he came to the defense of Kevin Durant after Kevin Durant made those statements. But before we get into what JJ Redick had to say, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, so let me get into this article here. JJ Redick doubled down on Kevin Durant's offense wins championship takes. Kevin Durant had a back and forth with a fan on Twitter trying to explain how offense wins championships in today's NBA. And while the Phoenix Suns superstar raised a few eyebrows with his comments, JJ Redick was one of the few to agree with the 34-year-old. The former NBA player doubled down on Durant's take during an interview with Los Angeles Lakers new point guard Gabe Vincent. Redick said, "I think the reality is right now you either need superhuman performances from your top players or you need an unstoppable offense to really win a championship. So I think there's some truth to what KD had to say in terms of offense wins championships, JJ said on the Old Man and the Three." So those were JJ Redick's comments. Now, here are my thoughts on this. First of all, this is a nuanced conversation, right? It isn't a black or white thing. The fact of the matter is this: the saying always went, defense and rebounding wins you championships. If you can defend and rebound the basketball, you will win championships. Number one, why? Because you can get stops and limit your opponents to one possession. This is absolutely true. This goes decades back into the annals of NBA history, right? Kobe, all of them said this. So that is fundamentally true. You need to be able to get stops. There's no question about it. Ultimately, you need to be able to get stops. Now, what KD, I believe, is saying is that offense wins you championships, because he's saying that it's players making plays that ultimately decides who wins the game. Shot making, things like this, clutch free throws, things like that, right? Is Kevin Durant correct? 100% he is correct. However, in the case of KD, I think the reason people are pushing back is because of the source that those comments came from. That's the reason why. Kevin Durant, if you look at his NBA career, Kevin Durant is one of the most talented players in NBA history. He's a part of the 50-40-90 club. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. He's one of the most efficient scorers of all time. He's a regular season MVP. He's a multiple-time All-Star. He's an NBA champion. He's a Finals MVP. He's an Olympian. His accolades go on and on and on and on and on. He is that damn good. He's probably one of the top 15 players of all time, arguably. KD is that legit. However, there's one thing about Kevin Durant, and that thing is this. Kevin Durant has never made an all-defensive team. For as great as KD is, he has never made it to one single all-NBA defensive team in his entire career. Not even one. Not even one defensive team. Has KD been playing better defense towards the latter stages of his career? Absolutely. But Kevin Durant at no point in time was ever known as a two-way player. He was never known as that. So when people hear this, right? When they hear this, they're like, wait a minute, dude. Wait a minute. The only reason you're saying this is because you're a scorer, but you don't defend anything. And then what they do is they now point to the fact that because you can't defend, you've lost series. We can go back to the Boston Celtics series. For as talented as KD was or is, they were stifled by the Boston Celtics defense, which stifled them because they went against the #1 rated defense in the NBA. Him and Kyrie Irving, by the way. But not only were those Boston Celtics able to get stops, they were also able to make buckets. So in that case, what KD's saying is true, because it's not enough to get stops, because you got to make shots, but you got to get stops. That is the fundamental truth. You can't rely on outscoring people. And that's the reason Ryan, what's his name? Let me get his name right. Ryan Davis brought up the point. He's like, no wonder you see no issues with creating a team with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and yourself, guys who have never made an all-defensive team, and you feel like you're going to win a championship. That's what they're arguing. I think if a different player said this, it would have been received much better. If it was a Tim Duncan that said that, if it was a Kawhi Leonard, if it was a LeBron James, if it was any two-way player, any guy that is known to play some defense throughout their career, I think people don't push back as much. But for the simple fact that it came from KD, I think that's the reason why people are not receptive to his comments. But then again, these are just my thoughts. I could be absolutely wrong, but that's just what I think. So what I want to know from you guys is, number one, what do you think about my analysis? Number two, do you think that defense and offense is just as important to win championships? Or do you think, no, it's 60-40, 60% defense, 40% offense? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. If you want today's full show, be sure to go to the Dreamerspro podcast, which is on Spotify and iTunes, and we have that pinned in the comment section below. Catch you guys later. Peace.